Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Focus Nigeria. My name is Amechi Anakwe. The Anambra State Governorship election has been slated for Saturday, November 6, 2021. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in January this year, released timetable and schedule of activities to guide the election. The commission will issue the statutory notice for the election. That will be on June 9, 2021. Party primaries and resolution of disputes arising from it would take place between June 10 and July 1, 2021. Final list of nominated candidates will be published on October 7, 2021. Now, political parties interested in the Anambra Governorship election have commenced plans for the sale of expression of interest and nomination forms for aspirants willing to contest its primaries. The aspirants themselves have also commenced declaration of intentions and purchase of expression of interest and nomination forms. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, is one of the leading parties in Anambra State. There has been a flurry of activities within the party as aspirants have advanced consultations and are almost picking up forms. One of them is Dr. Obiora Okonkwo, Dikeora. Dr. Okonkwo holds a doctorate degree in political science with distinction from the Russian Academy of Science, Institute of World Economy and International Relations in Moscow. He had his early education in Onitsha, Anambra State, where he combined trading at the main market and managing a herd of apprentices. With schooling, he is the winner of the prestigious The Sun Newspaper's Entrepreneurs Award for 2020. He also won the maiden edition of Dr. Michael Obiora Leadership Prize in Business. Dr. Obiora Okonkwo, a renowned business executive, is the founder and chairman of United Nigeria Airlines Limited, the latest entrance to the aviation industry in Nigeria, Rukada Security Company Limited, the founder and president of both the Nigeria-Belgium Business Forum and Nigeria-Russia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, as Dr. Obiora Okonkwo joins me on our discourse today, we shall be interrogating his vision for Anambra State as contained in his 10-point agenda. They are rapid rural development, economic growth with jobs, revitalization of education and human capital development, youth and manpower and employment, and planned urbanization and rural renewal. Others are peace and security, improved access to basic preventive and curative health services, diaspora management, rebuilding Anambra Etikwe infrastructure, and social welfare and poverty eradication. Dr. Okonkwo will also be weighing in on issues of party politics ahead of the Anambra State Governorship election. So please do join us as we go into the issues.
Addressing members of the PDP State Working Committee and a teeming crowd of supporters on his intention to contest the Anambra State Governorship seat, Obiora Okonkwo says he is pained that the PDP has been out of power in Anambra State for about 16 years since the return of democratic governance in the country. For him, it was time to rewrite the wrongs to enable the party reclaim what he described as the PDP's rightful position in the political scheme of the state.
It's not going to be easy because we are up against a party that has been in power for 16 years. But I think with an organized and stable party, with a process that is free and fair, and with the right candidate, the time is right for PDP because Anambra people are yearning for PDP. They're already tired of what's going on in the state now.
In his speech, the PDP state chairman, Nubisi Nwubu, reassures all aspirants on the platform of the PDP of a level playing field, noting that a transparent, free and fair party primaries is the sure way to electoral victory in November 2021 governorship polls.
Primaries is not an event, it is a process. And I'm going to ensure that all the processes leading to that primaries is seen to be fair, credible, and transparent. Once we get the processes and the primaries right, I have no doubt in my mind that all the aspirants will unify behind the person who wins in that primaries.
What is important for PDP now in Anambra State is victory. The point is that we need a God-chosen right candidate to emerge in PDP, win for us, and be able to deliver. That is my conviction, and that is why I'm here.
For some supporters, Obiora Okonkwo is a round peg in a round hole. They believe that the man fondly called Dikeora has all it takes to win the Anambra State Governorship seat if given the opportunity to fly the flag of the PDP.
Chief Obiora Okonkwo is someone who has proven himself in the economic industry and the model of politics that he has demonstrated over time is such that you can look at him and see a future Anambra that you would desire to have.
This is a man with a large heart, and he has the capability. We are women. We feel the punch. We feel the pains back home. And when you are finished training a child and he has no job doing, this is a man who is going to create jobs in Anambra State. He will create jobs, not jobs.
Obiora Okonkwo, who holds a doctorate degree and a highly successful businessman, is hopeful that he will, through the grace of God and the support of the party members, emerge as the PDP candidate, as well as win the November 2021 governorship election to become the next governor of Anambra State.
Nigeria in election mood. Anambra slated for November 6th. Anambra governorship election, going by history, has always been very contentious. The attention of the whole country, indeed the whole world, of course, going to that state. And as we prepare for 2023 elections, Anambra election will prove again a test ground for many of the innovations needed and reserved of stakeholders to improve the quality of elections in Nigeria. My guest for today is an Anambra PDP governorship aspirant, Dr. Obiora Okonkwo, who joins me now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Amechi. Thank you for having me.
It's always a big issue for Anambra governorship election. This year will not be different.
You're absolutely right. It's building up, especially with the INEC timetable, followed by the party timetable, and the gladiators are all warming up. So we're expecting a very, very tough fight, but it's good. We're prepared.
You're also prepared to go into the contest?
More than prepared. I'm already in the contest with my 2 hands and 2 legs, and they are feeling our presence already.
It will be quite interesting. Now, what do you think you can bring in into Anambra, rich in human resources, full of entrepreneurs, rich in trade, and of all that? It's a challenging task for anybody who wants to lead Anambra. So what do you think are the stuff you're going to bring in?
You're absolutely right, because Anambra is a unique state. It's different from many other states in the country. The people are unique. Our way of life on entrepreneurial area, it's unequal. So what I am coming in with is coming in to fill in the gap. And that gap is in a state where you have a whole bunch of intellectual, successful entrepreneurs, the masses, and of course, the every other day people who are around, they form the majority of the group. We had in the past not seen somebody who particularly have an in-between qualification to be able to relate with entrepreneurs, to be able to relate with the educated, to be able to relate with the masses. So for me, having grown up in the environment, started off my life in Onitsha market with my father, I'm grounded in what's going on the grassroots. Having grown in my village until I traveled overseas for my course, my degrees, then having gone to obtain my education to the highest level, that brings me to the other category of the people. And having joined entrepreneurial activities at the end of my studies, and having been blessed in it by the special grace of God, it keeps me in that position. So I have this understanding of what is required for birth. So I'm coming in with all those experience to bring the necessary difference needed in Anambra. And obviously, coming with that, it is obvious that I'm not coming for any other reason except to work for legacy, to bequeath a legacy. I am coming looking for a bigger platform to be able to actualize things I am already doing in every day of my life. The 10-point agenda we put together with my team is practical. It is out of our real assessment of the need of the people. What is lacking? It's not typical manifesto rhetorics. Each and every one of them, we can prove that we are doing that already in one way or the other
We'll come
in our
to
individual
we'll come to the 10-point agenda.
So it's just a big platform, a bigger platform to be more useful and to be of service.
You said something that you find yourself as the link to the different social structure interest group in Anambra State.
Exactly.
Your background in business, an entrepreneur, an industry, who expose you to the greater number of citizens within working in that area, and your intellectual education, executive corporate background also being useful to also link up with the other side of the state.
Exactly, because I understand the needs of both sides of the divide, and I've been existing in each and every one of those areas. So bringing them all together, because you cannot be, I am not claiming that I will be the governor that know all. Anambra can only succeed if we're able to harness all these stratas, all these different groups of people, bring them together to harness their resources, their talents, their skills, their exposures, their knowledge, and sit down on the same table at every point in time to create the direction the state will have to go. You know, that's exactly what we're coming, that is different from what most people are offering.
Okay, so you can beat your chest to say you understand this state, its politics, its people, and what it needs going forward.
Exactly. The politics is clear. I, like you've just mentioned here, I'm a political scientist, PhD for that matter. I'm not just coming out of school or coming out of university classroom. I've been involved in it. I've been involved in PDP since 1999. I've been part of political process in Anambra State. But initially, I had thought that I can support a political process without running for elective office. And I've been doing that with my resources, with my God-given intellectual endowment, trying to get in the right people who are more willing and available to run the race. But from what we are seeing today, it is becoming very, very difficult to get the right peg on the right hole. So, and looking at my time and my age, if you waste another opportunity to get the right person here, we probably might not be able to make the impact we need.
So you're at your prime now?
I am at my, you can look at that, Amechi, and you can say that. I am at my prime. And for me, in so many other aspects of life, God has been very, very, very gracious to me. I appreciate that. I appreciate Him every day. And what is left for me now is to give back, knowing the background we all came from and where we are today. This is the right time for me, and that was why I made myself available and prayed to God and say, oh Lord, if it is your will, here I am to serve.
You made yourself available. We are in a society and country where people will say there were pressures on them to run, and people convinced them to take this step. But you're telling us that you took the decision after some introspection.
Yes, Amechi, can tell you 100%. Nobody begged me to run. I weighed things around me. I knelt down. I fasted. I prayed. I went into communication with God over a period of time and presented my intentions to Him and waited for response and had the feeling that I believe in my mind, in my spirit, in my soul was positive. And because I asked God, if it is your wish and your way for me to go, I can only count on you. And if you, because I know when you send me, you will provide all that is needed for it. You will provide the right people we need to get to the destination. And I am available. And having done that with God, and then I have to get out there doing some consultations, because God obviously used people to get the job done. I sorted the view of different people that matter to me in my life, expanded the scope, continued to expand it, and at the end of the day, I felt I had the right positive vibes that I needed to take decision to get into the race. So it is my choice, and for that reason, my vision is very clear. The programs we have are very clear, because I'm not just running for running's sake. And I had to review the intentions, and I had to put together people. You know, like I said, I repeat, I don't have monopoly of knowledge. And as a leader, you don't. It's a matter of how many people you have in your team that have the capacity. Putting them together. And Anambra has these people in abundance. So I am glad that my presence, my availability is attracting all those from far and near. And together we're deliberating, we're strategizing, and then taking it day by day, one step at a time.
We'll come to that much later. There was one point you made. You've been a businessman for some time and also a founding member of the PDP. So how have you been combining politics with your businesses? You have a series of businesses. You're in the entertainment world. You're into security. Your latest business, United Airlines, was launched. It took to the air very recently. Some success story. How have you been managing both? And how will you take that into governorship, business interests, and service to the people?
First of all, we give glory to God for the successes. I don't believe that politics is for those who have nothing to do. Politics for me is not a profession, it's a vocation. You are supposed to be having something where you earn your daily income, where you practice your vision, where you practice your God-given skill. It is at the right time and the right point, you are supposed to bring that skill into governance. So having come into governance with that right skill, that's the only time now you can make politics and make it right. So I really think that for me, there is no friction with it. Modern day businesses are structures to run by themselves. I see myself as a venture capitalist, and I set up businesses and allow it to run. So bringing that skill into leadership, into governance, that's what is missing. We need in Nigeria, especially in Anambra State, a governance that runs like strictly principles of business, where you have efficiency, where you have accountability, where you have clear deliverables. And that's why in our presentation, we see what we're coming to do as a project. A project requires planning. It requires real deep thought. It requires bringing a whole team together. If you're a project coordinator, you don't have to be an architect. For instance, if it's in the area of construction, you don't have to be an architect. You don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to be a plumber, mechanical, and all that. But it's just your ability to understand what is needed to actualize a project, and then your ability to source the right team members to sit down understand what the design and the project is all about, and being able to implement them efficiently, timely, with expected quality and deliverables. So that's what we're bringing to governance. And I think that is what is missing. Because if you look at it in Anambra State, we have a whole lot of individuals who have succeeded in managing their private enterprises. Why are they not brought into governance? That's the way we look at it. So when you see political professionals who come into governance, they look at it from a different point of view. So for us, we are bringing those skills that we have practiced that helped us in our own private world into political leadership. And for a state like Anambra, that's what we need.
Okay, now let's go into the 10-point agenda. 10 points, maybe you lead us into, I don't know whether we have time to go through all this, but what are the key points among these?
Well, to start with, this 10-point agenda comes from our own practical understanding of the problems of Anambra State. It is meant to provide services to all areas. For instance, you have rapid rural development. Governance have been missing in our rural areas. The way our system is developed, leadership is supposed to come from bottom up. The local government areas, the zones, and all that. But today, the local government areas have been so incapacitated. And it is through the local government leadership that the people on the grassroots feel the presence of government. So we have a strong plan to bring it back. Local government must be independent, and most of the programs we are going to generate around the local government areas must come out of a very strong need assessment of those areas. Because what I need in my local government in Idemili, or my hometown, which is already a metropolitan and urban town, capital of a major local government area, might be different from what somebody else needs in Orumba South, or might need in the northern local government of Obiora. So we have not studied all those things and felt that we are going to start from bottom up. So with that, we also believe that those rural development areas must have to have a participatory leadership of the community. It must have a participatory leadership of all the community. We have a unique system in Anambra State, which is in our culture. Most of the development that came into that state way back.
Just to interrupt you
Yes.
a bit, we'll be breaking our programming to take you live to Kogi State for an outside broadcast live. But we promise you we'll continue to run on our social media platform. And tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to be repeating this interview. So while we go to Live OB in Kogi State, a new building in the government house, a Christian worship center, we'll continue with our conversation. So you were on a bottom-up approach.
Yeah, bottom-up approach.
Yes, getting to know the needs of the people.
The needs of the people.
Forcing.
Rather than forcing, and then letting them know our vision, getting their own buy-in, and then participating in it with us. Certain developments I was trying to say in our communities in Anambra State came from the communities. Community schools built by the communities handed over to the government. Community roads, community infrastructures. This is our typical way, and it's unique in Anambra State. Up to today, if you go to some hometowns, you see some individuals doing 2-3 kilometers of roads. When they finish, they go to the other one. When they finish, they keep on, participating in their development. So government is just coming in now to create an enabling platform, the partnership that is required to facilitate and enhance that. We are coming from that. That will bring a quicker filling and presence of government in the rural area. So that's what that's. If you talk about this case, they have social welfare and poverty eradication. You cannot only assess your success by the kilometer of road you have built. or by the number of buildings you have erected or bridged. Governance must be for everybody. We are coming in to be governor for everybody, for those who cannot even drive on the roads. Do you know that I have a foundation called Pro Valley Humanity Foundation? The activities of those foundations had opened my eyes. There are some
to issues of poverty reduction?
Issues of poverty and neglect. My team had discovered so many old people and homes that nobody had visited in the last 3, 4, 5 months. They are living alone, they have nothing to eat, they feed on anything around them, their houses are dated, are not kept, nobody washes their clothes and all that. They are available in every community. So a government that does not reach out to every individual who may not even know how to ask, or who may not even feel it,
who are not even organized to get a voice.
To get a voice, we're going to make ourselves available. The age in our society, days are gone when old people would want to invest everything they have on their children, believing that as soon as he graduates from the university, he gets a job and things get better. And then in turn, it becomes his own pension investment, start taking care of him. Those hopes are lost now. People, I've seen parents who have 5, 6 graduates. They spend everything they have to send them to school. None of them has a job. And these people are living a life of, oh God, when will you take me? They deserve the feeling and government presence in their life. All these things are in our social security areas. And that obviously that comes with access to certain facilities that are basic for every human. Because when you talk about these things they need, this group of people don't even really need that much. All right? They just need basic health care on the primary level, which in our healthcare program has to be made available to each and every one of them. We have a primary, a secondary healthcare system. And because we are trying to establish, our program will establish Anambra as a medical tourist center in Nigeria. We've been approached by a whole lot of Nigerian Anambrarians who are professionals living overseas. They said, look, I am 60, I'm over 60, I've reached the peak of my career in America. I've set up a structure that is being managed by my own second generation. My children can run my hospital. But when I sit down and sleep, I feel sad that I've not done anything to help my own state. If somebody like you is a governor that you can appeal to, I'm ready to offer my services free of charge. I'm ready to bring my network. We need to establish these hospitals. We know how it happened in India. Our colleagues in India made India what it is. We want to bring it to Anambra State. So we're going to establish those things and use the resources we're getting from the medical tourism to feed the medical services that will go on the social welfare. That brings us to the diaspora affair. The strength of Anambra, we have a strong demographic distortion. Good number of our people are living outside the territory of Anambra. We have 2 categories of diasporans. Those living outside Anambra, but within Nigeria, and those who are living overseas. In each and every one of them, I fit the tap. I studied overseas. I still have some minimum interest overseas. I stay in Abuja partly. I stay in Anambra partly. I know the feelings. I know what is required to bring these people on board. So our government is going to establish Ministry of Diasporan Affairs. Serious engagement. I know that today you have an Anambra license office in Lagos, you have an Anambra license office in Abuja. What do they do?
That's a big question.
What do they do? But we are going to take liaison offices to majority of the cities where we have a concentration from our statistics, presence of Anambrarians. Whether they're in China, we take our government to them. Whether they're in London.
Not to wait for them to come.
No, we take our government to them. They need to know what we're doing. We need to know what they can offer. We need to engage them. So I am the only person in this race who can easily, so we're going to convert that brain drain into brain gain. I am a recipient of brain gain award in New York about 13 years ago. And all these things we are saying, in my own individual capacity, I've been a springboard, a guinea pig, to a whole lot of diasporians who had looked at my tenacity, my resilience, and my consistency in the Nigerian environment and reached out to me to help them establish themselves. I've done that a whole lot. That has brought in multi-million US dollar business. But the question is, now these are part of things that inspire us to look for bigger platform. Because with that big platform we're aspiring for now, we can do more for them.
Do you know the major problem with diaspora investment and getting them back to Nigeria in general and Anambra in particular? Fear of not getting support, fear of the absence of institutional mechanism to harness and guarantee investments and provide the necessary support.
You're absolutely right. This is where we're coming from, and that's why we're creating a special ministry. That special ministry will be equipped with all they need by law, institutionalizing their processes to be able to be easily available to give all the support services that are needed by this, from registration of their company, from provisions within the environment, even anything, as the least as even helping them to build their house if they want to build their house. We do that. We do, a whole lot of them will send money into my account, give me the right architect, give me the right engineer. We've been doing it, monitor what they're doing. This is typical of us. So I think with the details of what we're going to put in place, it will give them the necessary comfort. These people also come in with special skill we need in different areas of our activities to succeed within this 10-point agenda. So they're coming with a whole lot of resources. We have a principle of akuluauno, which is in Igbo language, translates to English means until your word gets home, we really don't know what you have. So we are going to encourage all that. But today, the world is a global village. We are not going to be insisting that they all come back home. But it's like wherever you are,
let the impact be felt.
Let the impact be felt, yeah. And even look at the nation as it is. There was a big program on TV yesterday where even the nation, Nigeria as a state, has understood the impact of diasporan investment in terms of money remittances to Nigeria. It's very strong, it's very huge, all right? So, and again, they're going to help us with their scale to train also local skills that might also be available for export. In this time, we are not going to be sending young, able-bodied men and women walking across the desert and finding themselves in strange countries with no skill, with no mission, with no intention. It might interest you to know that recently, a cousin of mine was employed from Nigeria with all the full resident permit, work permit, large salary to work in UK as a radiographer. There are countries that are looking for these skills. So we're going to use their knowledge to equip these skills, and that brings us to youth empowerment.
Okay. Before we get to youth empowerment, which is also linked to where I want us to go next,
yes.
Security. If you're inviting Nigerian diaspora, Anambra diaspora to come home, they are concerned, as I said earlier, security of their investment and overall security of the state. Of course, security in Nigeria now is a big issue. We'll attend to those issues when we come back from this break. Please do stay with us.
Did you know that AIT's social media handles have all changed? If you are one of the millions of our followers on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, this is introducing to you AIT's new official and rebranded social media handles. Like or follow us now on our Facebook page, Official AIT Live. If you're on Twitter, switch to our new handle at Official AIT Live and activate the notification button to get breaking news and updates on the go. For exclusive short videos and photo news, follow our Instagram account at Official AIT Live. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Official AIT Live, and enjoy live streaming of news and your favorite programs, where you can also watch our broadcast materials at your own convenience. Note that Official AIT Live is the only authentic social media profile name with all the handles on our website ait.live with a notification prompt to accept and receive breaking news and updates on the go. Log on to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube platforms on your smartphone, tablet device, laptop, and desktop to follow us now. AIT.live. On air, online.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Our focus today is on Anambra State Governorship elections coming up November 6th. Flurry of activities within the major political parties in the state. And once it's all about Anambra Governorship election, it is a process that attracts global and national attention. One man who has thrown his hat in the ring, who says he is a round peg in a round hole within the PDP, who aspires to take over the Agoka government house, that's the government house in Anambra State, is Dr. Obiora Okonkwo. He has been sharing his manifesto as contained in his 10-point agenda. Before we went on the break, we talked about security being most relevant now. Security for Anambra citizens at home and those returning from other parts of the country and across the world with their investments. It's going to be very crucial.
Yes, security is very critical for any investment to thrive, even to attract it and for it to thrive. We understand the security threat around the nation, which unfortunately, in a position as a governor, you can't cover the entire nation. But we're coming with a guarantee that applying our security strategies and plans, which have been studied practically to suit our specific needs, it should be both conventional and unconventional. With this put together, we're going to have a well-secured state. This is not about talking. You had mentioned that I am already in a security related activities, and I've been involved in providing this safe environment, starting from my community to my local government, and in some occasions have intervened critically in some strategies that would even help for safety of the state and the nation. So it's a very, very comfortable area for us. And I can tell you as we speak, if we have to take over Anambra tomorrow, not next year, if our team to implement this are already underground. The plans are very, very clear, and they, as a matter of fact, the day we went to visit the party secretariat to declare our intention, I was there with that squad. I appointed this man, they're going to head our security team, both conventional and unconventional. So this is not.
Does that preclude the fact that you may also reach out to talents, those that have the capacity, even outside your party?
Oh no, this is all inclusive. In fact, we are talking about specialists who, most of them have never even played politics. They don't have to be politicians. In things we do, we look for the best wherever they are and bring them on board. So we search for talent because that's the only thing that can make the difference. So it is real. We have the plans, we have the strategy, and within a space of 3 days, if we take over, we're going to have the enabling environment we need in Anambra State. As a matter of fact, the plan is, if it is God's will, we get the ticket, and His wish, we win the election. It's part of our message, is that for the period of winning this election and to the eve of our swearing in, it is our own interest to pack and go, if you don't mean well for the state in terms of security. Because from the next day, from the moment we are sworn in, it's going to be a different ballgame.
Yes.
And I can tell you that those guys, good number of them are already buckling up, knowing those we have already in our team.
And the other ones that you may also bring.
And the other ones we may also bring. So is they're buckling up.
The idea you're giving out is that you hit the ground
running.
Right from day one.
Right from day one. And you see, for us, the issue of security, again, apart from conventional and unconventional, we're not just going to tackle it with arms and ammunition. No. We know there is a situation where some people have to be provided with alternative. You know, most of these things you see on the street are because people are jobless. Amechi could have been you or me. When I do address some people, I said, maybe if I was born into this time,
we're just
and
more fortunate.
Facing this situation, I could have been one of those kids on the road taking tramadol or polumile as they call it. So I don't just look at them as a wasted generation. We're going to bring a program that will engage them. And when these people are busy, these are the skills, these are the talents, these are probably the Chinua Achebes we are not having now. These are the people, the Cardinal Arinzes we're not having now. And all those great names and men we've had in Anambra State. These are Ekene Dele Chukwus we don't have. These are the Peter B's that we don't have. If this environment is cleaned up, writings and right environment are restored in our society, certain values are created, reorientation is done, and what these people will do is made available. I can tell you that in itself will drastically reduce the crime rate by 70%.
Now, talking of hitting the ground running,
yeah.
Your airline, United Airlines, is the newest entrant into the aviation sector. I was reading the other day how it started operation almost immediately. The licenses were granted. How will you bring in such into governance of Anambra State if the people give you that nod?
Yes, Amechi, we started operation less than 12 hours. We had our license in our hands.
Not even up to a day?
Not even a day, because we were called on Wednesday, that the license was ready. The process of picking the license, getting the certified through copy that must be in every aircraft, ended the next day, Thursday, by around 4 or 5. By 7 o'clock the next day, we were already having our schedule flight, and we had sustained that schedule up to this day. It shows you the level of preparedness. That's the way I do things. I plan before I engage. There must be a whole lot of planning in everything I do. We understand the problem of Anambra State, and that's why my motto is just simply, don't tell me about the storm, deliver the cargo. You must have known the problems. We've studied the problem. So we're going to hit the ground.
No excuses?
No
Don't tell
excuses.
me about the problem.
Don't tell me about the storm, deliver the cargo.
But they can come back with the problems after the
when the cargo is delivered. And obviously when the cargo is delivered, other things should just be things that are expected within the course of implementing the plan. So it is that principle that we have used to succeed in our private business that we're going to bring in governance. That's what is lacking, because people today see governance as just where anything goes, and then as long as you have reasons, it is more serious than that. You know, and government businesses must be taken seriously, and that's what we are bringing in. There will be no excuses. And I know obviously one would ask, how are you going to do it with the type of civil service or bureaucracy you have in place? Bureaucracy improvement is our great agenda, because it is the wheel that moves the vehicle of governance. It's been neglected. There's no motivation. But you know, in the past, those were the people that are adored and respected in the societies. Even from teachers, look at the teachers. Teaching is now where if you have tried every other job and it fails, you now go and become a teacher.
The default vocation and profession.
So we're going to face, we have a great program to improve on our bureaucracy, to train them, because they're almost non-existent. And we're not just coming to say, I. It's going to be a teamwork, because when we finish, by God's grace, our tenure, we must be sure that we had institutionalized session processes that led to our success. My success, our success as a team during our tenure must not be an individual thing. It should be a measure of how much of a team we put together.
Is that why you keep making reference to we
oh,
instead
yes.
of
I tell you that it should be a teamwork. It's a teamwork. That's why we could name our agenda project. You see, if you look at the project, you must have thought about it. You must have planned it. I repeat, you put the team together. It's not a one-man thing. I don't know everything. I don't have monopoly of knowledge. There are things I know, and there are things I don't know. There are things I know, and there are things that, though I know it, there are people who know it better. But my job as a leader is simple. Look for the best of the best in everything to deliver the best of what we need.
Now, let's take a look at your party, PDP. It's been out of power in Anambra State for almost 16 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. ABGA has been in power. The time Obiano's, Governor Obiano's tenure will be ending this year. That will be 16 years. It will be pretty difficult for such a party to bounce back and challenge for the governorship of the state.
You're absolutely right. ABGA has been there. You understand that it's just about the only state they have, and have made governance to be just what happens in Anambra State. And to add to that, by the time the last election that PDP won was 2003. So by 2023, the next general election, and by this November, any child born after the last election of PDP from 2003 up to date should be about 18 years. They are of age to vote. And the only thing they know in Anambra State that is governance
is ABGA. So another 2 years, those that were born within ABGA would have come of voting.
Would have come of voting. Yes. So some of them are already of voting age, those who were born after 2003. Yes. It's a big task. And I'm not taking it lightly. But I think I have the solution. I know the strength of ABGA. We've started for the past 3 years to start dismantling their structures, both institutional and otherwise. We don't expect that it will be easy. But the added advantage that any candidate coming out of PDP must be able to be seen as somebody who has not only capacity to win the ticket of the party or to win the election, but must have to prove to the people that he has the capacity to deliver on something a lot better than what ABGA has offered.
Now,
and that can not only by rhetorics.
For the PDP, someone who win the primary?
It's not, you have to be able to win the ticket.
Unify the party.
Unify the party, win the election, and more importantly, have a strong program of deliverance. That is, you must be able to show that you can implement and deliver on that program.
That, for me, is the most critical aspect.
It is it's very, very critical.
Last one.
It's not theory. It's not rhetorics. And for you to be able to prove it on the Anambra, you must have also shown records. If you say you will do this, you must show what you have done, because there's no time.
From the known to the unknown.
For the known to the unknown, because they have a government that is in place. All right? And yes, they are not doing great, but they are doing their best. Certain people, their yardstick to evaluate governance in Anambra today is what they know that is happening with ABGA, which is, have they given me motor park to run? Are they building 2-kilometer road that leads to my house? Are they giving me revenue collection? That's for them what governance is. But governance is a lot more. I've said in some public outing that in Nigeria, apart from God, probably the most powerful person in Nigeria within the states are the governors. Because they have a power to give you amnesty. They are the only people who can sign your execution warrant if you're on a death row. So, and it is only God who can give life or take life. So if you have an office, you have an individual who have such powers, it can be used to do a whole lot more of things than
Positively.
these mundane parochial considerations of what becomes my own individual criteria to consider who the governor should be. So the powers of governor is enormous to transform and make
And
life
someone
better.
who utilizes it to the fullest is needed.
Yeah.
Now, within your party, the issue of zoning,
Yes.
there's no way we won't go into it.
Yes.
Issue of zoning. Anambra South, that's what a lot of people are saying. But some others saying, no, let's throw it open, that the PDP cannot afford zoning now. To what extent we issue, you're from Anambra
I am from Anambra Central, yes.
And the clamor is, let it go to Anambra South. What's your take on it?
Well, you know, at every given election, some group of people might come together, look at narratives that favor their own aspirations and come up with it. But beyond those pronouncements, you have to ask, is it practical? Is it real? Is it equitable? Is it constitutional? Is it fair? Constitution of Nigeria does not allow any process that would disenfranchise anybody from any zone. Constitution of PDP, rules and regulations of PDP do not even have room for that. Our party PDP has spoken from the highest level to the lowest level that they need Anambra State. And for them to win Anambra State, to uproot the taproot that has been laid by ABGA for the past 16 years, they want to go to the election with the popular candidate with the capacity acceptable to win the election for the party, irregardless of where the person is coming from, even if it's coming from north. So it is in that spirit I am presenting myself. But however,
When you say from the least to the highest, is it the National Working Committee?
there have been so many pronouncements from the National Working Committee, from the zonal party, even within the state. You see, the PDP people in the state have suffered so much. A whole number of them have been deprived of so many things. They have remained in one political position. Some of them were chairmen of local government since 1999. Their colleagues in other states are governors. Their colleagues in other states are ministers, senators, deputies, but they remain on local government level because we don't have PDP government. And besides that, if you're actually looking for where the equity applies, it will just be that somebody from Central senatorial seat, where I'm coming from, should have the ticket. Because since 1999 up to date, PDP, because what we're talking about, PDP affair and giving the ticket. Holding the ticket is not a guarantee you will win. In the last 16 years, people have held tickets. PDP has given their ticket 3 times to candidates from the South. 1999, Mbadineju. 2007, Senator Ndoba. 2010, Professor Soludo, all from the South. 2013, Tony Moyer. Dr. Tony
That's
Moyer from the North. 2017, Dr. Ambassador Oselo Kobaze. So if you look at it, 2 tickets to the South, to the North, 3 tickets to the South. The only one time PDP gives ticket to somebody from Central is to Dr. Christinger. But let it be on the record that none of those moments, whether it is to Christinger or 2 candidates from the North or 3 candidates from the South, they were done out of zoning. They were just simply struggle, and whoever got it was able to get it out of his own effort. But again, in all of those things, they contested against aspirants from every other zones. So I think that is the reason why majority of the party people in Anambra State do not really subscribe to this zoning.
The last question. Anambra is known for godfathers, billionaires, controlling, especially within PDP. How are you going to contend with them if you get this ticket and win the election? How much of influence? We saw what happened in the past. How much of influence, how much of remote control will be made to be on you? And how will you resist?
Well, I've made it clear from the beginning that I'm going into this race in the name of God Almighty, God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Spirit. When we win the ticket, we are going to be governor for everybody. The godfathers, I don't think there's any godfather in Anambra State who is not my friend. You know, those godfathers in quote. We relate on very, very personal ground. We should accommodate every person. But the only difference is that the government business must have to be transparent, must have to be with accountability, because I'm putting my integrity at stake. Let me tell you, if the godfathers want to benefit from the government, by the time we finish as governor of Anambra State, if we are not able, if our regime is not able to, if we have 50 billionaires in Anambra State, if our regime is not able to create another 25 billionaires, we've not achieved anything. If we're not able to raise people who are on a very poverty level to good income level, we want to create wealth that will make people rich. So both the godfathers and otherwise will participate in the process from the wealth we will create, but we are not going to dip hands into the government purse to satisfy anybody.
That's very crucial.
We're going to create wealth that everybody will have his own fair share. So with that, I think they will be very, very comfortable.
From our Twitter feed, Sir Chibuihe Isaac Dike says, I've seen Dr. Obiora Okonkwo's pedigree in driving tangible investment into Nigeria. The Dome in Abuja is there to speak. I know what he can do to impact Anambra economic development. We have to thank you so much for joining us today and to wish you well in your aspiration to become the governor of Anambra State, starting with the PDP primaries.
It's always my pleasure to be here, Amechi.
Now, give us one sentence as you get set to leave. Your message to people in one sentence. The message you're coming with.
Well, my message to my fellow Anambrarians in the Anambra is that November 6th election is very critical. The candidate you go to the election is very critical. You should eschew sentiment, you should eschew personal interest, and look for that candidate who is coming with a program that will benefit the entire Anambrarians, regardless of their party, regardless of their denomination, regardless of their area. It must be that person with what you are convinced that will revive Anambra and make it a model state, and then renew that I can do spirit, which is always the driving force
of Anambra people. We have to thank you so much, Dr. Obiora Okonkwo, Anambra PDP governorship aspirant, for giving us your time.
And the only person who can come with that message is somebody who could be a living testimony.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll keep tabs on that process. Very interesting, not just for the people of Anambra, but the entire country. That's it on the program today. My name is Amechi Anakwe. Keep safe and remain a good citizen. Thank you.